Let's talk about communism. It all started in 1917, when in Russia a man named Vladimir Lenin staged a revolution, the October Revolution, to overthrow the government run by the Tsar, and overthrow the government he did. When in charge, he established a communist government, with him in its center. When he gained this power, he gave out powerful positions to his friends, most of all Joseph Stalin. Stalin was a rising force in the Communist Party, and he was given the power to give people jobs, also known as the Commissar of Nationalities. So he gave his close friends and supporters good jobs, which gained him a lot of support. On his deathbed in 1924, Lenin said that he did not want Stalin to rule after him. But by that time, Stalin had gained so much support that it was basically inevitable that when Lenin died, Stalin came to power. He'd had some opponents, but conveniently, most of them were arrested or disappeared, so that was quite lucky for him. With Stalin in charge, he ruled with terror. Anyone who dared oppose his ideals were killed or sent to the brutal Soviet work camps where they were worked to death. It's the final days of World War II, and the defeat of Nazi Germany brought two dominant world powers onto the world stage. It was clear in World War II that they were adversaries with competing geopolitical objectives and very different forms of government. These two superpowers were the Soviet Union and the United States of America. The Soviet Union was ruled by the merciless dictator Joseph Stalin, and the United States, the world's flagship of democracy, at the time was led by President Harry S. Truman. These two countries had two very different political systems and geopolitical ambitions, so it was only a matter of time until they came into conflict. The Soviet Union wanted to expand its territory and spread its system of communism to other places in the world, while the United States found itself at the end of World War II as the most powerful country in the world and committed to supporting systems of democratic governments all around the globe. At the end of World War II, and immediately following the war, would have become the world's superpowers. The former allies, Russia and the USA, both wanted to expand their different spheres of influence around the world, became adversaries in a long and broad conflict that came to be known as the Cold War. The Soviets seeking to expand and create communist regimes all around the world, and the Americans seeking to promote democracy, led to a worldwide battle for influence. Many people believe that President Truman's speech to Congress on March 12, 1947, was the official start of the Cold War. Known as the Truman Doctrine, it pledges the American support for democracy and a goal to prevent the spread of communism and Soviet expansion. The end of World War II released the Soviet Union and the USA to pursue their geopolitical ambitions and expand their sphere of influence around the world. The ensuing Cold War went on for over 40 years and impacted every corner of the globe. It was a war that wasn't always fought with guns and ammunition, but with political influence. But always against the background of nuclear war, and if these two superpowers ever came into direct conflict, it would mean the end of the world. They never actually engaged in actual conflict, in actual warfare, but they funded and supported proxy wars that would either result in a communist or democratic government. The Cold War ended with the fall and breakup of the Soviet Union in 1991. The legacy of the Cold War, however, can be seen very clearly in recent Russian aggression and expansion under Vladimir Putin. Very few places in the world were clearly not affected by the Cold War and it will not soon be forgotten. The Cold War raised tensions exponentially over the course of many decades and raised the threat of nuclear war as well as the damage that would be caused if one were to happen.